We fell out of love like shooting stars, came crashing down, and we're building back up again now.
Hello everyone, Lightning Lotus here, and today I will be showing you how to improve an Osu, catch the beat, showing my settings, what skin I use, what different skin settings you could change, like the dash fruit color and stuff like that. I will be separating this into different sections, so I'll leave the timestamps down below in the description if you want to skip to a certain part and enjoy the video. Okay, so first of all, my video settings. So language, okay. Release, not really important. You can use staple, whatever. Hmm? All right. So starting off with my settings, updates, not really important. I use beta, but stable. It's okay. Use whatever you want, to be honest. For graphics, frame limiter, you either want to use unlimited or you want to have a custom frame limiter on, because VSync just sucks, to be honest. You drop a lot of frames. The best option is custom, like a very high custom frame rate, or just unlimited. I just use that amount. Show FPS counter is basically personal preference. If you look at the bottom right, I like to have it on just to know when I have frame drops or not, but it's up to you. Reduce drop frames. You want to use this if you have a low end PC, but I have it on just in case. Resolution. I just have it at this resolution for recording purposes, but you could use native if you want to. But it's usually better to use something smaller. And full screen mode if you have a low end PC as well, because it lags less. Detail settings. I like to have all this off because it's very distracting. And if like you like to rank up and stuff and you like to play seriously, then I'd recommend turning all of this off. It's just a lot of distraction, and if you have a low end PC, it's just gonna be non-stop lag. So yeah, just turn all these off. Main menus, same thing. I have all of it off. Some interface voices because I love the when it when you start it up, it just says welcome to us. So I just leave that on. Show thumbnails, not really important. Okay, background dim. I've seen a lot of people keep this like at 0 or just put it up a little bit, but I'd really recommend putting it up to 90 or 95, because usually the background image is very bright, so it really makes it hard to see the fruits, especially with my skin. My skin, I'll showcase it later, but I'd really recommend having it between 90 and 95. The default, just that way you don't have to change it every time you go into beatmap. And the rest of these is basically just personal preference. You could play around with these. This not really important. And okay, I guess I'm done with that part, with the options part, and I will be making my skin part right now then. Okay, for starting off with skin, I have my own skin. Well, I didn't actually make it, but it's just like a combination from different skins. And I'll leave it down in the description so you can download it if you see you like it. And for settings on skins, I really recommend turning this on. That way you don't use the skins that the beatmap thrived you, just you get used to your own skin. And cursor size doesn't really matter unless you're playing standard. And sensitivity and the rest doesn't really matter. I'll go into keyboard bindings in the next section. But let me showcase my skin for a bit, just for one song. Let's put this one on. Alright, so you're going to see that my fruits are all white circles. Why is that? Because it's a lot easier to visualize the fruits that way instead of having it like oranges and apples and stuff. It's a lot easier to visualize it with it being white circles, or it could be transparent circles with the white outline. That works too. But this just makes things a lot easier to visualize. So that's why I have that skin. Everything else is just for the look of it. Like it looks nice. And so that's the skin part. And I will be going into the skin eye and eye settings in a different section because I could go a little bit more in depth into that. So see you in the key binding section. Alright, so for key bindings, this is really important in my opinion since I used to use the default one for a very long time. So let me look into that real quick. So for default, for catch the beat, you would have this, correct? And I used this for a very long time, but I noticed it was starting to be very uncomfortable since I used to use my ring finger and my index finger. And my friend told me that it would be a lot easier if I just switch it to somewhere else. So what I did was switch it to the comma and the period. The reason behind that was because they're small, they're very close together, and I gotta use my middle finger and index finger for them, and it's the greater than and less than signs, which is pointing left and right. So it's just a lot easier to move around with since, for example, if you use a mouse and you're right-handed, you use your middle finger and index finger a lot, right? It's just a lot more comfortable to use them quickly for at high level play. And dash, I just leave it the same for left shift. Since I'm used to it, you could change it to Z or X or whatever key binding you want. And the move left and right as well to whatever you want. Just make sure it stays comfortable for you, but I just recommend these settings that I use. And that's it for keyboard, and see you in the next section. Alright, so this is going to be a tips and tricks well, not really tricks, but just tips section. So, what I really recommend for you, all you new players out there, is do not play converted maps. When what I mean by converted is these that have nothing like just the stars and stuff on there are for standard Osu. And by catch the beat, you should be playing catch the beat songs, which are these, the ones that have the fruit on them. They're just easier to follow. It makes it easier to learn, and they're made especially for catch the beat, not like the converted songs. The converted songs have really weird patterns, and it's really hard to follow. So for learning purposes, I really recommend learning with the catch the beat. And a tip for that, if you don't know if you have any catch the beat, just beat maps. I mean, you could type mode equals C, and that searches up all the catch the beat maps you have. It works for same for the other modes like mode S. Is it standard? I don't remember what it was. Okay, mode O, which is the standard also. Mode T, I suppose, for Taiko, yes, and M for Mania. So that's a little tip there. And if you're a really new player, what I would do is these little tips and tricks that you can use star greater than, for example, 3, and it gives you every beat map you have that's greater than 3 stars difficulty. Or you could do AR, which stands for approach rate, sorry, less than 8. And it gives you all the beat maps that you have approach rate less than 8. And it works for all, I think it works for all the settings on the top left. So you could mess around with that, and just so you could have certain difficulties depending on what level play you have. And if you're in in around 12K, 20K rank, and you don't know what to aim for, you don't know what how to rank up, songs start being hard. Like if you want to go upper difficulty, what you gotta do. Well, this actually applies for everyone. What you gotta do is FC a map to win PP. When PP stands for performance points, and the more performance points you have, the more rank you get. So by FCing a map, which stands for full combo, which is catching all the fruits, um, you gain the maximum amount of PP by FCing a map. So every time, no matter what the difficulty is, you should always try to FC the map. Something I do a lot and I shouldn't be doing is if I don't FC a map, I just retry and retry and retry and retry. And I've had up to 150 retries on a song, and I just get really frustrated about it. And that's not a really good thing because being frustrated about a song makes it almost impossible to full combo it. So what I would do is just give it like around 5 tries, 15 tries, 20 tries, and then just if you can't get it, take a break or move on to the next song and then come back to it later. And that way you could FC it better. And if you're ranked around 10K, I'd say, and you can't really FC the higher ranked, like Rain or Platter, what I would do is go into mods and put DT on. And go to songs that are AR7, AR8, if you could read that and you could pass those. Um, and that's a way to get a lot of PP, especially if you can FC the songs. Um, but another way to do this easily as well, even if the song is converted, what I would do is go like on the easiest difficulties there are. Go hard rock, double time, and flashlight if you could do flashlight, or just do hard rock double time. Or hidden if you're a hidden player, which I cannot do hitting for shit, but respect to you, hidden players. And I think that's pretty much all the tips I could give you, other than the key bindings. And I feel like the skin is really important to be able to visualize it. For example, in this song, I'll try and play it real quick. I apologize if you hear my keyboard in the background. I've passed it before. You see right here. I'm not the best at this game to be honest, but you don't always get FCs and stuff. It's actually really hard, and there's some really hard songs and really good songs too. But I think that's all the tips I could give you, other than you searching up like the terminology for the search bar and just simply downloading a lot of beat maps, especially the catch the beat maps, which are the best for ranking up and the best for learning. But I think that's pretty much it. The last thing I would do is go into the skin INI settings because I have some things changed in there. But guess I'll see you in the next section. Alright, so this is gonna be the skin INI section. Basically, what the skin INI is the skin settings, like colors and stuff you have on your skin, and you could find it in your OSU folder if you type OSU in the Windows app in the Windows bar. Open file location, and if you have a shortcut to it, just right click it and then open file location. Osu skins, and then select your skin you're using. Scroll all the way down until you find skin INI, the INI I mean, and right click it, open with Notepad. Already have it open over here. Alright, so let's get into this. So these are the settings for Catch the Beat. Hyperdash is the first three are an RGB coloring, and the last one is alpha, which is a transparency. Uh, so basically, if you want a certain color for your hyperdash, which is when you press shift, when you grab a fruit, I think, the hyperdash fruit, it's on that color. I think I have it on, yeah, it's on blue right now. So you could change it to whatever you like. Just search up an RGB format for the color, and then you change it to these and just leave it on 255. So you could be able to visualize it. If you set it to 0, then it's going to be completely transparent and you won't see it. Unless you want it completely transparent, then just set this to 0 and all this doesn't matter. Hyperdash after image. So the after image is like if you grab a hyperdash fruit and you skid to the other way of the screen, you see that there's little figures of you behind you, like after images. That's basically what it means. And I have it on blue as well, and fully visible. You could change it to whatever you want. Same thing, RGB format, and this is transparency, which is alpha. So the hyperdash fruit. Alright, so this is the hyperdash fruit outline color. For example, you saw that mine was a pinkish reddish color, and I set it that way using the RGB format as well. You could copy these settings if you want to, but usually it's like this. I have that down below. You could also set it like this is completely blue. I mean red, because it's RGB, which stands for red, green, blue. And if I could find Catch the Beat, here it is. So this is the hyperdash fruit outline color, and you could set it to whatever you want. You can see I set a comment down here that this is what I had before. The double slash is just a comment inside of a code. Copy these settings if you want, or you can set it to whatever you want. You can even set it transparent if you want to go hardcore and not know when you're gonna dash. But change these settings around, and just so it suits what you like. Alright, that pretty much concludes my mini tutorial on how to improve on Catch the Beat or how to get better. There's obviously nothing better than practice and just try different styles, see what fits your like key bindings the best, what colors you like the best, what skin suits you the best. But you just gotta try out different stuffs, and what I have suits me, it may not suit you. So I just recommend you try different stuff. Hope you like this video. I'll probably make some mod videos, how to learn the mods in the future. But if you like this video, please give this video a like and subscribe if you want to keep updated with my content. There's more from where this came from, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Oh, and right before I leave, I'd like to give a huge shout out to Kasho. He's this guy right here. I wouldn't really have made it this far without him. He's the one that really got me into playing Catch the Beat again, and he's like a very important person to me. So just a huge shout outs to him. Love you, dude. And now for real. Bye bye.